Hello and welcome to Lamplighter. Today is March 30. Today we continue to read about Saul's continual fall downhill as the king of Israel. Now, make no mistake, Saul is a good king with regard to being a military leader. He is a very successful warrior. He leads the Israelites in defeating several various armies that are attacking them or around the nation of Israel. All along the way, we're told when he finds mighty or brave men, he adds them to his army. So Saul is a very astute military commander and leader. We're told during this period of time in our reading today that there is a battle that takes place on the eastern side of the Jordan when the eastern tribes are fighting against a nation called the Hagrites. Now, the Hagrites have attacked the 2.5 tribes of Israel east of the Jordan, but the 2.5 tribes east of the Jordan are successful in battle because they are helped by God. Why are they helped by God? Remember, that formula is very simple. Because they cry out to Him in prayer. They ask for God to be with them. They put their trust and their confidence in God as their leader, and they even describe this battle as one that belongs to God. It is His war. It is His battle. And as a result, guess what? God blesses them. They are victorious. Then we're told about a mission that God gives to Samuel to give to Saul, a mission against the Amalekites. God wants the Amalekites totally destroyed because they, quote, waylaid Israel as they were coming out of Egypt. And so God now wants to punish the Amalekites. The instruction is for Saul and his soldiers to completely destroy them. Every living, breathing thing is to be destroyed. That sounds harsh, but that's the specific command God gives. So Saul and his men get ready to attack. They come across some Kenites who, by the way, had shown favor to the Israelites. And so Saul tells them, you better move, you better get out of the way because there's some battle about to take place here and we'll spare you if you'll move. And so the Kenites take the warning and they get out of the way. Saul and his men attack the Amalekites and they come home feeling very successful, though they have spared King Agag and they have spared the best, what they determined to be the best among the flocks of the Amalekites. Now, what I want to do today, I know you've read this, many of you, but I want to reread with you a fairly long section, and there's a reason for this. I want you to listen very carefully to the text itself, because this is such a significant section about the power of obedience and about our tendency as humans to be like Saul, to rationalize acts of disobedience, yet God does not buy it. If you'll join me, I'm going to start reading with the very last paragraph at the bottom of page 403 in our Bibles. If you look at the bottom of page 403, the text says this: When Samuel reached Saul, Saul said, "The Lord bless you. I have carried out the Lord's instructions." But Samuel said, "What then is this bleating of sheep in my ears? What is this lowing of cattle that I hear?" It's kind of a sarcastic question from Samuel, but he's saying, if you destroyed everything like the Lord commanded, then why are there animal sounds being heard? Because they were to be destroyed too. Saul answered, "The soldiers brought them from the Amalekites. They spared the best of the sheep and cattle to sacrifice to the Lord your God, but we totally destroyed the rest." "Stop," Samuel said to Saul. "Let me tell you what the Lord said to me last night." "Tell me," Saul replied. Samuel said, "Although you were once small in your own eyes, did you not become the head of the tribes of Israel? The Lord anointed you king over Israel. And he sent you on a mission, saying," and here's the mission, Go and completely destroy those wicked people, the Amalekites. Make war on them until you have wiped them out. Why did you not obey the Lord? Why did you pounce on the plunder and do evil in the eyes of the Lord? Now notice Saul's response. But I did obey the Lord, Saul said. I went on the mission the Lord assigned me. I completely destroyed the Amalekites, and I brought back Agag, their king. The soldiers took sheep and cattle from the plunder, the best of what was devoted to God, in order to sacrifice them to the Lord your God at Gilgal. But Samuel replied, and notice this is very important. Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the voice of the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. Then Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned. I have violated the Lord's command and your instructions. I was afraid of the people, and so I gave in to them. Now I beg you, forgive my sin and come back with me so that I may worship the Lord. But Samuel said to him, I will not go back with you. You have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you as king over Israel. It's really a sad story, and I know that was a longer reading and that you can read for yourself. I understand that. But I don't want us to miss this point. Saul has himself completely convinced that he has done exactly what God said to do. He says, I did destroy everything. Oh, and we brought back the king. Oh, wait a minute. Why isn't the king destroyed? Oh, and we brought back some animals, the best of the animals, to give God in offerings. Oh, I thought you destroyed everything. How did the animals survive? You see, Saul's mind is just not working, and finally he admits, I messed up because I listened to the people. As a result, as you get to the end of today's reading, Agag is ultimately killed, but it's Samuel who kills him. And then we read this, Samuel mourns for Saul the rest of his days, and the Lord is grieved that he's made Saul king. I ask you again, how important is obedience? God gives even today very specific commands. And sometimes our human tendency is to say, surely God didn't mean it that way. Surely God wouldn't expect me to think this or to do that. Surely that's not what he intended. Surely what I want to do is what's truly better. I'll honor him as I do it, and all kinds of rationalizations surface. But God doesn't buy the rationalizations. He didn't buy them from Saul. He won't buy them from us. To obey is better even than sacrifice. And the question, the hard question we today must ask ourselves, am I truly obeying God specifically? Am I living my life exactly as he prescribes? And if I cannot answer that confidently, I need not do anything else until I make sure my life is right with God. Isn't it great to be a lamplighter? His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. I hope you have a blessed day.